Preparing.
Live.
Did you say we're live?
No.
No, okay. Okay. All right, good morning, everyone. I will call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good morning, everyone. Please sign in if you haven't already. And if you come up to the podium, please state and spell your name. Excuse me. All right, we will start today with any public comment that is, public comment for any subject not on the agenda. Is there any public comment?
I have some.
Yes, Commissioner Randolph.
And I laid out some maps, some proposed maps. Last week, I was not here because I was at Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority Conference in Livingston. And we will, as this progresses, probably have a meeting just about this at some point. But just wanted to update everybody. Hopefully the next 3 to 6 months you'll see some news stories about it. This proposed map is exactly that. It's just an idea. When you see, where is it? Sorry, I couldn't get this any clearer than this. Deer Lodge. Mm-hmm. There could be a route through Helena that would come down through Townsend or through Butte that would not come down through Townsend. That will be one decision they make. And then you'll see some other ones that they will have to make. And they being the National, Amtrak, all the parties involved. And there's a lot. One question that was asked a lot is stations. Every town that doesn't have passenger rail was talking about stations and getting excited about where the station should be, what it should look like. And we had 2 or 3 speakers from Mississippi that have actually done this, and they've spent years and years getting passenger rail down there successfully. And they said, we love the enthusiasm about stations, but you need to get the train first. Mm-hmm. There's no sense worrying, trying to figure out funding for a station if you don't have a train. And that kind of changed all of our mind. So we will be working, the authority, a board member from Amtrak was there. We had a great list of speakers. We had 2 speakers from the manufacturings that make passenger rail. So we learned a lot. A lot of this will depend on federal funding. Their reauthorization is being done now. We should have some idea by around May of 2026. The route, that may change. Federal government. Tim Sheehy is a huge supporter of this. So he is helping, and all of our folks back there are, but Tim Sheehy especially has been very helpful. For example, I just want to give you an example. Malta, Montana received a $15 million grant to improve the Empire Builder up north. So there is grant money up there. They're kind of with every other, just like all grant programs right now, a lot is up in the air. So we're kind of in that time. But when you look at and I'm not going to go through that now, we will at some later date, the financials of, let's just say, Malta, $15 million grant. There are studies across the country for what that will bring into an area. And it's usually 5 times the grant amount.
Holy cow.
With tourism, everything involved in that. And there's some private foundations that are helping with this. Business partners. So we'll see. Even if the train does not go through, the passenger rail does not go through Townsend, it will benefit Townsend. We're talking about, for Townsend, for example, if the train does come through here and we have a station, then we got to figure out how to get people from there to the city, or to White Sulphur. We could set up a bus thing. So it's a lot of layers to it. But I knew very little bit about it, and luckily the resources that are available to us are supporting this big time across the country. So Big Sky Rail Authority has some great partners, and we'll see what happens.
Is there a track already that goes from
Well-
Bozeman to Butte?
Partially.
Partially, okay, because they usually go through here and then Helena, right? Okay.
Right. One of our selling points will be connecting the state capitol. They go through Butte, they miss the state capitol. So I think that's going to be really, really in our favor. And it was interesting, it's too complicated to explain right now, but how the freight and the passenger rails work together, or could work together, or should work together. They're in competition, but across the country it works. They have a very organized and highly technical way to do all that. So from what I learned in the past, the freight trains really were opposed to passenger rail, and now they're coming around, that they can work together, and we can bring money, passenger rail, can bring money to help their tracks that they use as well.
Would would Amtrak be the one providing the passenger services, or does the passenger rail actually have its own?
It could
services?
be Amtrak, it could be something else.
Okay.
Amtrak is certainly the leader,
Yeah.
but it could be there are private, other facilitators across the country. So a lot is to be decided.
There's a really, I don't know, anyone who's gone up to Alaska, there's a really cool railroad you can take, passenger rail,
They talked about that.
all
We had a
around
guy
the
from
coast.
Canada.
Yeah, it's been, I've ridden it a few times, and it can go, it goes up to like Seward, and it'll drop you in all the different places, but it's a cool ride. And
They talked about that a lot. The plans, some of these people have plans, they called it, oh, no, I forgot, fish to moose or something like that. A train from Florida to Alaska.
Oh,
Big plans.
Wow,
They have
okay.
some cute ideas. We just want to focus on this right now.
Yeah.
So you'll hear a lot more about it.
Hi. Thank you. Cool. That's really interesting. Thank you for taking part of that. And I know former Commissioner Fulford is still on that board as
He
well,
is.
and he's part of it, which is great.
And Dave Strohmeyer, Commissioner from Missoula County, is the leader of it. He does an amazing job.
And then J.B. Howick from
The city.
The city is also on that. Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Hi, Christy. Good morning. All right, next up, we have discussion decision, TJ Gravely, Public Works Director, continuing collection for the 22-23 Equity Recovery Program. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. TJ Gravely, Public Works Director. So over the last few weeks, we've kind of drafted up a letter as far as what we were thinking moving forward, trying to collect the other $103,000 that is a shortfall to the solid waste department. I believe what we've got right now, or what we have right now, is a pretty good document as far as moving forward. With us being with the solid waste department being an enterprise fund, every dollar counts, and I do feel that we need to try to get as much of this as we can. Once we hit that December 30th or December 31st deadline, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, if we're going to write the rest of that off or what we're going to do moving forward. As I said in previous meetings, there's a lot of people on this list that are very prominent that have multiple properties, and it's kind of a sticking point as far as they received assessments for their personal property or their personal house, but their rentals, their offices, things like that aren't being collected. I think we're here today to talk about, are we ready to move forward with this letter that is presented?
Okay.
I believe all you have a draft in front of you.
I forgot mine because I'm a bad student today. Thank you. I just misplaced it, I think. Sorry. Thank you.
Misplaced it on your
I
desk?
have read it, yeah, somewhere on my desk.
Dog ate your homework.
That too. 100%.
Madam Chair, may I make a couple?
Yes, please.
A couple edits. the last sentence in the first paragraph, if I have the most current, because I know there's been a lot of current ones, there should be a comma after 251. I think there's a,
Oh, period. Yep.
Yep.
okay, and then the second to the last paragraph, originally this draft letter had the date of May, the end of May. Talking to TJ and Misty, we discussed having it December 31st, and that right now it says December 25th. And I'm sure that date is up for discussion. Our conversation that TJ and I had with Misty was May is 3/4 of a year.
Yeah.
It's just, let's just get this thing as much as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Kind of seemed like the end of the year, the calendar year.
Yeah,
was
we've
good.
kind of drug it out
Yeah,
Yeah.
long enough.
yeah.
Yep.
We're going to get what we get and go with it. I think we've done a really good job with our assessments. We're going to miss some. I'll promise you, we will miss some. But moving forward, this last year, we captured about $82,000 that hadn't been captured before. Out of that $82,000, how much of it are we short still just off of mobiles because people haven't titled their mobile or done the proper procedure with Department of Revenue? I'm very excited with the number that we did receive. I think the citizens of Broadwater County stepped up in a fantastic way to make it right with the county because they have already used the services. It's the other roughly 266 people that haven't, that have multiple assessments. So I think with this letter going out, maybe it'll jog their memory or what. I'm not positive on that.
TJ, to be clear too, those people who haven't paid, who still have not paid, they have been assessed for the years following 22,
Correct.
23.
Yeah.
So they may have paid their current assessments and have access to the dump. We're just asking them to please pay for, basically you had access, you used services.
Yeah.
We would love it if you would step up and pay to kind of help benefit the majority, right?
Actually, if
Well,
they don't
everyone.
step up and pay, I mean, we're looking at trying to keep this assessment at $265. What happens if they don't? As much as I hate to say it, the assessment would probably have to increase to cover that cost.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that they've received new decals and they've paid because we knew that they were missed and they've paid their assessments since 22,
That
23.
was part of the problem with people having multiples,
Yeah.
because the ones that are missed that they haven't paid for, they did not receive assessment decals.
Oh, okay.
So there, like I said, there's very prominent people in this community that have received their decals, but they still owe on the back
Mm-hmm.
of the other properties.
Okay. Well, I think this letter looks good. I see Debbie's one edit. I didn't have any other edits when I had read through it previously.
Are you guys good with the 31st of December instead of dragging it on?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that allows, I don't think you're going to see any more people
think you will.
come in after the next couple months, so.
I agree.
I also, Madam Chair, if
Yeah,
I
please.
may. Second to the last paragraph, if you are unable to pay the assessment in full, the Public Works Department will offer a payment plan. And I've seen people come in and make payment plans, and correct me if I'm wrong, TJ, but everybody who has made a payment plan has followed through with it,
100%.
which is impressive. So the Solid Waste Department will work with people. If you can't afford it, they will work with you.
Yeah.
I was very impressed by that.
Yeah.
I was skeptical at first. The people received their decals, and every one of them paid in full. No.
Okay. Are there any other comments? Okay. Is there a motion?
Oh, I'm sorry, I did have one
Oh,
comment
go ahead.
before, sorry.
Go
And this letter, the first letter came from TJ.
Mm-hmm.
This letter will be signed by us, the commissioners,
Okay.
showing some partnership with solid waste and how important this is to the entire county. I apologize. I would move to approve the collection of the Equity Recovery Program letters and have those letters sent out as soon as possible.
I will second that.
Okay. There's been a motion and a second to approve the collection for the 22-23 Equity Recovery Program, and to have those letters sent out as soon as possible. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right.
We'll make those edits. So.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you. Okay. You're still in the spotlight. Discussion decision, TJ Gravely, Public Works Director, Broadwater County, to surplus property solid waste excavator.
So, good morning again, Commissioners. TJ Gravely, Public Works Director. When the transfer station was opened, they purchased a brand new excavator. It was a 120B. That excavator is still in working order at the transfer station. I have the opportunity to surplus that out with Pates. In fact, I had a phone call again this morning seeing if we were bringing it in. The new excavator that we are purchasing is actually sitting in Belgrade right now, with waiting to attach the quick attach bucket and the thumb. I am hoping we have that by the end of the week, because I would really like to get this to auction so it doesn't have to sit here till the spring auction. So what is before you is a resolution declaring tangible personal property owned by Broadwater County to be surplus property. Whereas Broadwater County owns an E120B excavator shown in Exhibit A attached hereto, whereas pursuant to Montana Code Annotated 7-8-2211, excavator is no longer necessary to conduct the business of Broadwater County or the preservation of its property, and whereas it is in the best interest of Broadwater County that the excavator be declared surplus property and be sold. Now, therefore it be resolved by the Broadwater County Commission, Montana, that the personal property described above and in Exhibit A is declared surplus property. And so on and so forth, passed and adopted. Like I said, we have the opportunity to get rid of that machine. Why it is still working loosely, and it won't be on us anymore, and it'll be passed on to somebody else to go to use.
How much do you think you can get for it? Just out of curiosity.
Ballpark figure, I'm hoping anywhere 5,000 to 10,000. I'm really hoping. The excavator probably has, I can't remember if the hour meter broke. I think it's got about 12,000 hours on it. So it's seen as useful life and then some. Moving forward with that, with the replacement stuff with the Nessie curve that Bill built for us, this won't happen this way where we're carrying a piece of equipment past a useful life, which to me is a great idea.
Yeah, so we've built in that replacement
Yep, the replacement costs.
in the schedule for that. And the new excavator, that is through the loan from the county.
So I came to the commission and I could have finance it through CAT or through Sourcewell, and watch the interest go to somebody else. To me, if we have the opportunity to finance this stuff ourselves and keep that interest in-house at the same rate that you guys were getting, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Keep that money in-house, finance everything ourselves.
Agreed.
Mhm.
Well, I'm good with this. I didn't have any other questions. Commissioners?
I don't.
You guys have any?
I have a question. When will it go to auction? Do you know the date?
I think the auction starts next week.
I knew it was close.
As soon as the state one's over, this one is starting.
Okay.
If I can get a little more definitive timeline as far as when our new one will arrive, I would like it gone no later than tomorrow.
Sounds good. Anything else?
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I would move to approve the resolution declaring tangible personal property owned by Broadwater County to be surplus property.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve the resolution declaring tangible personal property owned by Broadwater County to be surplus property. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Is that one to sign? Because I did a front and back on mine, so I'll need yours. Thank you. Is there a reason resolutions can't be front and back? Just in the interest of saving paper? Yeah. Or is that just, it's just not done that way? Because, you know, something like this, but that's a whole second page. It's like, why couldn't that be on the back page?
Madam Chair, when you're scanning documents in,
Mhm.
I mean, since it's an official document, I mean, it kind of puts it into, I don't want to say law, but it is legal.
Yeah.
You could get a page missed,
Oh, I see.
scanning front and back, copy front and back. And state level, legal world,
I know.
it's never front and back.
I was just curious,
So,
in the interest of
yeah.
saving paper, but.
Yes,
This is a good try.
Yeah, you know. It's all about that O&M,
You
right?
certainly could try it, see what happens.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
thank you,
Thanks, TJ.
TJ. Have a good day.
You too.
All right.
Oh, TJ, are you or Misty going to edit that letter?
Yeah.
Or, okay, I didn't know if I should or you should.
Yeah,
Okay,
I can
sorry.
edit it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have decision, Nicole Brown, Community Development and Planning Director, Fairview Minor Subdivision, request final plat approval, Section 2, Township 8 North and Range 2 East.
And Madam Chair, I'll recuse myself for this.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nicole Brown, Broadwater County Community Development Director, here to present the Fairview Minor Subdivision for final plat approval. I have a stack of items that I will pass to Commissioner Randolph to be shared back and forth between the two of you. These items are the documents that I believe allow the subdivider to meet final plat approval.
I'm going to do this again.
Get
It
close.
just makes it easier.
And I didn't paper clip them, so just
Oh,
Perfect.
kind of made it.
I think I can figure
I
it
think
out. Maybe.
I think
It's
you'll
been a
be
day.
just fine. All right. So commissioners, you've had an opportunity to view these documents, as has the public. These have been posted online. I'm going to summarize the conditions if
Thank you.
that's
Please.
satisfactory to you. Perfect. Okay. Condition number 1, any and all adopted state and county requirements and standards which apply to the proposed subdivision must be met. Clearly those have been met, otherwise we would not have made it this far. Condition number 2, plan for sewage treatment and water supply submitted to the Department of Environmental Quality. What you have there is DEQ approval. Number 3, the subdivider required to submit preliminary and final plat in electronic format. You do not have a tangible item for this. I do have it available on my computer. Number 4, the plans for installation and location of the mailboxes reviewed by the U.S. Postal Service. And you have a letter, actually an email, I believe, from the Townsend Postmaster. Number 5, the fire protection plan. This was done in conjunction with the Broadwater County Rural Fire District because that is the jurisdiction. This subdivision is quite close. I don't know the approximate location, but to the Duck Creek Fire Station. So you have the approved fire plan signed by Fire Chief Ed Schindel. Number 6 is the signed and approved weed management plan. You do not have the entire weed management plan there in front of you because that's a fairly lengthy document, but I do want to let you know I have the original in my file, and that will be recorded with the final plat. So what you have are the pertinent documents to the weed management plan, essentially the signed form by the landowner, county weed coordinator, county weed board. Number 7, am I going too fast or is this okay? All right. Number 7, final plat prepared in accordance with applicable state survey requirements. Also shown on the plat, any areas in excess of 25% slope shall be identified as no build zones, and that has been done. Any existing and proposed utility easements on the property, that's also shown. And any existing access and utility easements adjacent to the property, so that's also shown on the final plat. Number 8, these are the restrictive covenants requested by the county. I certainly can go through these if you'd like. You should have numbers A through H, as in Henry. Would you like me to read each of them individually, or you've had an opportunity to look at them?
Thank you.
Condition 9, this is the right to farm declaration. That will be signed and notarized by the landowner, also recorded with the plat. And essentially this just states if there are farming operations in the vicinity, they will continue regardless of whether the subdivision residents approve or not, in a nutshell. Condition 10, prior to submitting the final plat, following improvements installed or otherwise guaranteed. A, any necessary requirements by the storm drainage plan, weed management plan, fire protection plan, or approach permits. And those have all been completed. B, the installation of mail delivery facilities. That will be at the preference of the landowner. Since this is not a full-time residence, there is a possibility that they may not seek mail delivery at this location, but if they do, they have the letter from the post office dictating where they should place said mail delivery facilities. And lastly, utilities abutting and available to each lot. Utilities have been installed. Last 2 conditions. 11A, provide proof that all property taxes assessed and levied on the property are paid for the current tax year, including any past delinquencies. And you have a tax bill showing all taxes have been paid. And 11B, documentation showing that the landowner is the lawful owner of the property. So you have a copy of the deed as well as the abstract of title, the platting certificate. And that concludes the list of conditions. This was a quite simple, well, I say simple, I'm sure the subdivider and representative, I don't mean to minimize the work they have done by any means, but this was a 1-lot minor subdivision. It had an agricultural exemption in place. And prior to the installation of the septic system, it was required that the landowner lift that agricultural exemption. So this is the process for doing so.
I did not have any questions. I read through everything that was sent previously on the conditions, and I'm glad that the NAPS went ahead and went through the process. Get that done.
I don't have any questions.
Nothing?
Any comments?
Okay. All right. Well, I will move to approve the Fairview Minor Subdivision final plat.
I will second that motion.
Thank you. All right, there's been a motion and a second to approve the Fairview Minor Subdivision final plat. Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment?
Yeah.
Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
And for the next discussion, I'm just going to have a seat to allow the public room at
Sure.
the podium
Sure.
to communicate, if that's acceptable.
All right. Okay, so for the next item is a discussion that we started last week, establishing a process for DEQ, or Department of Environmental Quality, letters of approval for ADUs, or accessory dwelling units within subdivisions. Commissioner Randolph, you weren't here last week, so welcome back.
Thank you. I
To
did
the
watch the
discussion.
meeting,
Yeah.
saw all the emails.
And I think we had some edits that we talked about last week. I know Commissioner Swenson, you made some edits. We have updated documents. I know our sanitarian made some edits, and all these were on the website and posted as well with the agenda items. So I'll let you lead off,
Okay.
or Director Brown can lead off. Either way.
I can start.
Okay.
I think, do you want me to just go ahead and read the changes?
Sure.
Or do you want to read the whole document again?
Let's start. How about we start with the regulations document? Let's start with that one first, since the application refers to the regulations.
Okay.
Just start with that one, and then yeah, you can go ahead and discuss what changes were made on this one.
Okay, so the first change comes on second page on section 6. So application materials. We just kind of reworded this and made it a little bit clearer. So it's a non-refundable one-time application fee of $250 and a site plan showing the location and dimensions of the proposed ADU. Then 4 didn't change. On number 5, we added, if construction of an ADU requires a new approach, or driveway, or road access to a county road, the applicant must obtain an approach permit from the Broward County Public Works Department. 6 didn't change. And then on 7, this was kind of the biggest change. So it's sanitation review clarification. Parcels that are 20 acres or greater in size, exclusive of public roadways, are exempt from sanitation review by the Montana Department of Environmental Quality, or DEQ, pursuant to MCA 76-4103, unless the parcel provides 2 or more permanent spaces for recreational camping vehicles or mobile homes. Local review by the Broadwater County Sanitarian is required to ensure adequate water and wastewater systems for both the preliminary residence and the ADU. Those are both for the lots 20 acres or greater. And then parcels less than 20 acres of size without existing sanitation approval. Pursuant to MCA 76-4-102 and 76-4-103, the parcels less than 20 acres without existing sanitation approval, 4 parcels less than 20 acres without existing sanitation approval, sanitation review and approval by the Montana Department of Environmental Quality, or DEQ, is required prior to development of the primary residence or the ADU. So that's just basically saying any lots that happen to have been created that are under 20 acres that do not have an existing sanitation system will have to get approval before any construction is done. And then the last one is deviation from a certificate of subdivision approval, or COSA. Pursuant to MCA 76-4-130, there can be no deviation from the COSA until the reviewing authority has approved the deviation.
Okay, thank you. I kind of was reading back through this again. I spent some more time on it because we discussed it last week and wanted to just go back. And then Megan had sent an email, our sanitarian, on a couple things. And so I had one question. So she had said in her email, typical approvals are written for one single-family dwelling unit, thus the approval must be rewritten to allow for 2 or more single-family dwellings. Adding a structure with a kitchen and laundry facilities changes the building from an accessory unit, which doesn't currently require DEQ review, to an additional dwelling unit requiring review. So should we be saying, instead of accessory dwelling units, should we be saying additional dwelling units? Because we're talking about laundry facilities and all that.
And that, I believe, is expressed on the definition of what an accessory dwelling unit is from our regulations.
Okay, so we're saying if we're saying if we're using accessory dwelling unit in our regulations, we're fine. There's no clarification needed based on what she's saying.
Correct. Because it would just be an accessory unit, like you can have like a bathroom in your barn.
Right, okay.
Which would be, you wouldn't need to go back to change their COSA.
Okay.
But if you're creating an additional entirely self-contained unit, that's an accessory dwelling unit, which needs to have the COSA revised.
Okay.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
I had a couple other things, Debbie. Do you want me to just to address what I was going to address, or would you like to jump in?
No, please.
Before I just...
Because some of yours might answer mine.
Okay. As I was reading through it, down under section 3, under the by right, B, section 2B, under the last bullet, applicable building requirements. We don't really have any applicable building requirements, right? Do we need to, should that even be in there? Because we have no way of enforcing that, or we don't have any requirements.
Madam Chair, can I respond to that?
Please.
My thoughts on that, Jesse and I chatted about this when this was in the very early beginning draft stages before it even went to you other two commissioners, and we did kind of bounce this back and forth. While we don't have residential building requirements, there are commercial building requirements enforced by the Montana Department of Labor and Industry. That is a state function, and so I think that might be important to keep in there, just to kind of be that safety net. And I realize that when we're talking about accessory dwelling unit, it's independent cooking, sleeping, and sanitation facilities, but that does not mean that it may not be used for commercial purposes also. In the instance of, say, a work-live situation, and I realize being a small unit, that's a stretch. But I think that's safe language to have in there. This is just my thought from planning perspective, that it conforms with applicable building requirements. Because if it were to be used for commercial purposes, there would be applicable building requirements that they would be required to conform to.
Can we just add commercial in there then? Can we just say applicable commercial building requirements?
Or commercial building requirements if applicable?
Yes.
Okay.
Then moving down to section 3, under permitted use, so number 1 ADU is permitted by right on any parcel containing a single-family dwelling. We're saying 1, but it's up to 3, right, in MCA, based on that code. Excuse me.
No, for the BLR.
Yeah, for the BLR. So like up to 3 is up to 3 strictly if you're using them to rent, or can you just have up to 3 period and then it becomes BLR?
Chairman Rickmeyer, so So I'm going to answer this question in two parts.
Yep.
So the MCA that you're referring to, I believe, is the municipal code, because SB 532 has not been codified yet. As of October 1st, there likely will be that code. I don't want to preempt what the state is doing, but since that's when it will become law, I would like to think that that's when it will have its own MCA code. So the only code right now is the municipal code. And yes, that does state one by right, but what we're referencing with these regulations, while we are mirroring the municipal code as well as SB 532 soon to become code, there is no code that's applicable to this regulation that we are actually creating. There is nothing in MCA. So,
Okay.
but it does state, the municipal code and SB 532, that you can have up to 3, but one by right up to 3, with a whole other process for garnering buildings 2 and 3. So I don't know if that's a process that the commissioners are interested in. Just to expand on that just slightly, and not to talk too much here, but SB 532 does state that by right, a landowner could have 1. Again, we are not following SB 532. We are mirroring it.
Right.
SB 532 says by right, a landowner can have 1. If you want 2 or 3, up to 2 or 3 ADUs, you must come before the Board of County Commissioners and seek permission. We're not requesting that through this process. It's all a staff function, right? It's all being done. Up to those 3 buildings are done by staff, currently me, but the planning office.
Should we add something there maybe that's refers to, I mean, I know it's municipal code, but we're using it on the back of our application on, acknowledge that under Montana Code annotated 76-8-106, and then again 76-8-107, a tract of land may contain up to 3 buildings for lease or rent without triggering additional regulatory review. So would it be worth saying, just to prevent confusion there, since we're saying permitted use, 1 ADU is permitted by right on any parcel containing a single-family dwelling. Additional ADUs are up to 3. Additional ADUs up to 3 will require review by the county commissioners or by the local government or local authorities, or however we want to say that.
If that's how you choose to use this tool.
Well, I guess I just was looking, just when I just went back and read through it again, just having that on the back of, referring to it here on the application.
I think the bigger, sorry if I may,
Yeah,
but
please.
the bigger issue or question is going to be, what are we reviewing when they come with 2 and 3? Because the BLR is going to trigger itself when they want a 4th. But if we are going to say we need you to come in and submit to us for a 2nd or 3rd ADU, what are we reviewing? What do we have to say no to?
Yeah, it was just confusing, and I don't know. That's why we're talking about
Right.
it.
Yeah, exactly. So
because it just was like 1 ADU is permitted, but then they're going to read this on the back and acknowledge it and say, "Oh wait, but I can do up to 3." On the back of the application.
Madam Chair, can a suggested edit may be after permitted use, up to 3 ADUs are permitted, and get rid of the by right on any parcel containing a single family dwelling. And so just to make it clear that
Yeah.
up to 3.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful, just for a clarifying standpoint.
Or, and instead of permitted, can we say allowed? Because I realize permitted and allowed mean the same thing, but when we're talking about permits, I don't want it to be confused.
Yes,
That a DEQ permit or this application permit, so.
up to 3 ADUs are allowed on any parcel containing a single-family dwelling.
So then we can also get rid of by right out of the definition
Yes.
section.
Yes, take that out. Thank you.
And one more edit, instead of are allowed, can we say may be allowed?
Yes.
Because I also don't want to get it confused that the county has any authority over DEQ, because DEQ will be the governing authority when determining actually how many buildings will be allowed. So to change permitted use to say up to 3 ADUs may be allowed on any parcel containing a single-family dwelling.
Why don't we say it may be allowed by DEQ,
Okay.
just to be specific? It's kind of like an FYI. I like the size limits.
I don't think, because
sorry.
DEQ doesn't care how many The BLR is not done
Right.
through DEQ.
Yeah,
That's
that's true.
done through
That's
the county.
right. That's a fair point. Okay, yeah. Okay. Maybe you'll, yeah, take that off. Forgot about that. That was really helpful when JJ clarified that in our initial meeting on ADUs. Because you think they're looking at how many, right? But they're looking at spacing, they're looking at septic, water, quality, all that. Commissioner Randolph, did you have any thoughts on any of those
Well,
so
can
far?
we back up?
Yeah, please.
Back way up, and
Yeah,
I
please.
did watch the meeting
Sorry.
actually a couple times. Listen once, and watched it because I was slow. And driving back from Livingston is better than the radio.
That's saying a lot.
Right?
I need to get a life, is that what you're saying?
Wow.
No comment.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing. Okay, back up. If we, I don't even know where to start. I'm going way back now.
Yeah.
We don't have zoning, so I'm confused on the level of restrictions and regulations and permits that we are creating, because this doesn't really affect us. And I guess that's period. And then I have more.
I think the thought was to, I think the main concern was and I will refer to you on this in a minute, but I think the main concern was as 532 came up, there was confusion about whether
Right.
it applied or not, and then at the same time we're seeing several requests for ADUs, and I know Director Brown's concern was I need to say to DEQ yes or no. They want this response from the county. They want an approval per se, right? As we learned in our conversations, DEQ is kind of the stopgap, right? They're going to be the ones that say, no, you guys can't do this. There's not enough space. It doesn't work. So I think the concern for you was mostly what is an objective way that you're saying, yes, the county gives approval. When would we not give approval? So I think we wanted something just simple for you to feel confident, and I told DEQ they can move forward with their assessment, right, and their process. That was the goal, right, of all this, yeah. So, and I knew in our last discussion, we kind of talked about, I know you guys worked very hard with like Haranch and just trying to cover all bases and make sure, but then it's like we don't want it to be too restrictive of a document. It's more just a way for you to get to yes, that is documented, that boxes have been checked basically. Because honestly, if it is too restrictive, people will just do a family transfer, most likely. So I think that was the intention from the get-go, is just how do we get you an objective, solid way to say yes to DEQ and then let things go as they were. Once we realized 532 was not applicable and we saw an increase in the AD requests. What are you thinking, Commissioner Randolph?
If that's the goal, this seems like a lot of regulations to get to that goal, to that answer, when 532 doesn't really apply to us. I'm trying to find, I guess, when you get a letter from DEQ, I was trying to get with you this morning, but I didn't, my fault. What exactly are they asking you? What's the wording? I'm not sure I've ever seen that letter.
Yeah, absolutely. And you would not have seen that
Right,
letter.
right. I should have asked you.
It's typically an email that comes to me from Megan Bullock, our county sanitarian, because she does contract with DEQ to do DEQ reviews.
Right.
So it's an email seeking my comments and approval, like essentially the planning department. And so I don't mean to say me, I'm not that cool, but the planning department approval for this DEQ rewrite is when it comes to me. So it's when DEQ has approved, say, a subdivision lot for one single family residence, and the landowner decides that they want to put a second dwelling on there, they have to go to DEQ for a rewrite. So unfortunately, the landowner has already contracted with an engineer to go through DEQ for this whole purpose. In only one instance, I can think of, has a landowner ever come to my department first and said, hey, can I do this? Because my response would be to look at the subdivision application itself, the actual application book, like we just had here for Fairview Minor, and look to see how was this application submitted. So I look on their actual application page, and if it says each lot is for one single family residence, I can't give approval because I have no other governing document for me to give approval for this use. And so when DEQ sends this email requesting planning department approval, I have to deny it because I have no basis for giving approval. So whether the property is 10 acres and it can sustain it and DEQ has no problem fitting a second septic or the engineer to get approval for DEQ, for the septic and well on there, I look at the subdivision application that says one single family residence per lot and I have to deny. So this document or this process can give me the tool to say yes, because there's no other documentation out there that I can reference reasonably to give my approval to. Did that answer your question? I mean, I know that was more
No.
than what you asked, but
It was fantastic.
Is it the application, so based on our previous conversations, is it the application, not the actual plat, right? Like that wouldn't change because I knew that was a concern, right? The DQ will do a COSA rewrite. Anything that's done can be an amendment to a subdivision plat, like if this is in a subdivision, right? I thought
You're not amending the plat.
I'm not amending. Excuse me. It could be like an additional, like an exhibit A or
You would file the amended COSA.
the amended COSA. Yeah.
Right.
See, he has
and
the
those
right words.
those do go with the plat in Andy's
Yes,
office.
yes,
right?
thank you.
We
So
call
an
them
amended
envelopes,
COSA.
and it goes in there. So no, I'm not looking at the actual plat. I'm looking at
the application.
the application itself to see how was this subdivision reviewed. If it was reviewed and approved for one single family residence, that I would be doing a disservice if I disregarded that application, because this document, this application itself, is the document that I review, the planning board reviews, the public reviews, and you commissioners base your final decisions on. So.
And so, what did we find out, or did we find out any information what other counties do with this that don't have
No,
zoning?
go ahead.
In conversation with JJ, who has done this for multiple counties,
yeah.
He said typically that what he gets back, if they don't have regulations, what they get back from the planner is more of a no comment type of a letter. Like we don't have any comments because we don't have any regulations for it.
Exactly.
And that's all the DEQ needed to proceed.
That was my exact finding also.
So you're not saying yes, you're not saying no.
Right.
You're just saying
No comment.
no comment
Yep.
on this.
Which is kind of, I mean, the regulations that we have here kind of were trying to do that. Most of them are, I look at it more as like a non-regulation because a lot of them are saying, other than what the definition of an ADU is, which is just holding to what the MCA's definition of ADU, which is mainly self-contained and smaller than the primary. But we're trying to say, like, we cannot require additional parking. We cannot
Right.
require building permit. Well, we don't have building permits here, but it's more of trying to say what the county cannot do because we don't have.
That's funny you say that because
Anything
I was going to add, I had those three things. I had design standards, occupancy, and parking as like, do we even need this in here?
No.
To say what we don't do.
Right. We
I just thought,
we
to
don't
keep things as simple as
necessarily
possible.
need it, but it was just clarifying our role, for in the future when we're not here.
We're always going to be here. We're talking about forever.
And please don't think I'm
No.
No, I think-
despairing in
no,
any of
I
this.
think-
Absolutely not.
It's
No.
just because I came in late, I'm
Yeah.
like, why are we creating
Yep.
more work?
No.
And more regulations?
Yep.
Whatever we need to get you comfortable
Yeah,
and
exactly.
your decision to DEQ. If it's no comment, fine. Does it hurt to have a guiding document? Probably not.
And,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt.
No, go for it.
That would have been, I would be more comfortable with a fact sheet or a guiding document. But it seems like a lot of regulations and a resolution and an application.
I don't think we need a resolution, and I told
Yeah.
Commissioner Swenson
Okay.
that. I said, I said that last week. I think a resolution's a little bit overkill. This is more of an internal internal document that just helps you accomplish your task.
I have not found any counties that don't have zoning that are going through this process. I'm not saying they're not there. Everybody's, figuring this out right now.
Madam Chair, can I add something?
Please.
I would just like to say I do like this, mostly the application form. And obviously, and if we're going to have an application, we need to have a regulation because we have to have something to base our application on, right? Because I know with utmost certainty that there will be in the future an ADU that goes in a subdivision that covenants do not allow for. And I do know that I will get a phone call because my department is the one that receives the phone calls from the landowners, being planning, to say, hey, my neighbor put in an ADU and our covenants don't allow for it. And which I know we're not enforcing covenants, but I can simply say, well, I have this application here, and they attested, they, as in the potentially offending landowner, attested that they checked their covenants. This will be a public document, and so if they would like a copy of it, I can send them a copy of that document. And not to get too much into like the legal realm of this, but I believe that would absolve the county of any harm or wrongdoing in the sense of, hey, we didn't check covenants, we didn't say they could do it, because if this ever were to go to a lawsuit, I can see where the offended, not offending, but the offended landowner could trace back the DEQ approval to say, well, the county didn't provide a comment when it came to the planning department, or DEQ approved it based on what, and then they look through those documents. So I'm not trying to solve a problem that has not been created, but I am certain that it will occur because I do at least once a week get phone calls on residents and subdivisions
I'm sure.
that claim their neighbors are violating covenants, and so I have this conversation very, very regularly. Not specifically to ADUs, just covenants, period. So if nothing else, I really appreciate this application form absolving the county of any wrongdoing when it comes to the verification of covenants.
Could we, on that note, change the title, maybe Broadwater County ADU Guidelines? Do we need to say regulations? I mean, I know you're saying it ties back to the application, but the application is mostly for us as documentation and just for the record, right? And so could we say Broadwater County ADU Guidelines, discuss what the purpose is, explain what the ADU is, and then a lot of the other stuff, I mean, we could maybe just put in a sentence that says, we do not, review design standards, occupancy, or parking. None of this is reviewed. I think I like the application materials if we feel, I'm moving really fast, sorry. If we feel that we can justify the application fee in this case. I don't know that we would even need a site plan showing the locations unless you wanted that for the record, since there will be an amended COSA that goes into the plat. So
that
it
was
might,
one of my issues.
Yeah, it might be unnecessary. I think the development standards are fine. ADUs must comply with the setback. I think that's great information for people to have. Again, that's something that we couldn't enforce, but until our road guys drive up there and have a problem, and then they say something, right? So it doesn't hurt to say it. I think it's good to say if it requires a new approach, here's what you need to do. And I think Megan's additions on the sanitation clarifications are really helpful.
I think any way that we can help the resident understand, because it is a very confusing process that Nicole leads every day.
It is. There's a lot of gray. So I like what we have. I don't think we need to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but yeah, I think we just could simplify some pieces, and maybe it's not necessarily regulations, but guidelines. Unless you feel very strongly about regulations, I know you're tying that application back to that. But as long as there's a guiding document that the application can reference, I think, is that what you're
Yes, ma'am.
primarily concerned
Yeah,
about?
to me, it really makes a difference if it's a regulation, a guideline,
Yeah.
checklist, whatever you want to call it. Just something to give an applicant instead of
Yeah.
my very, very limited verbal explanation. Since we're having very limited involvement with these, I certainly don't want to have to be communicating to landowners what they can and cannot do without
Yep.
some type of county document.
The important document's the form. That's the one that the
Yes.
residents
Yes.
are going to be getting. They're not going
Agreed.
to care about this other document. The other document came up because the form has to reference something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So keep the form. I mean, I think we have good information already. Excuse me. I think we have good information in the regulations or guidelines or whatever we want to call it. We could probably simplify in some of those areas. I think it's a good document. And then if we, on the application itself, I had one edit under landowner acknowledgements.
Where are you at now?
If you go down to right above where Megan commented, so the second one under landowner acknowledgements, it's a stupid edit, just take out with. ADU does not contradict any applicable subdivision covenants or homeowners association rules. And then the last thing was the fire district. I know we talked about it last week. I know Ed was here, our fire chief was here to discuss that with us. I guess my only hang up, and I understand why he sees this as important, and as of now, if we didn't have this process, fire wouldn't be involved at all. For family transfers and other subdivision exemptions, fire isn't involved at all. I'm not saying fire shouldn't know these things.
Right.
But if the fire district, he said they have to go back and work on their internal regulations or their rules to deal with us asking that, for a sign off that they've been contacted. So I guess.
Well, my understanding was they were amending their regulations for ADUs in general, not necessarily from the county reaching to
I didn't
them,
know
but
that.
that's how I understood what he was. I might be wrong, but that's what I understood. The way he said it was they were in the process of trying to amend the regulations for ADUs, but they didn't have a quorum, so they had to bump it to the next month.
Okay, I thought they were addressing it because we were doing this. I wasn't sure. Cart, horse.
I don't know that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So that's I definitely wanted to get, because I'm with you. I think it's hard for us to put a lot of regulation or regulations on the fire. Because you're right. If you make it more difficult, then there's no point of going through the ADU process. They'll do
Family transfer
transfer,
and
whatever.
build a house the size they want to build without
Exactly.
any review whatsoever.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's my only, I guess that's my hang up on the application. And I understand their intent is obviously to be able to provide fire mitigation when necessary. They need to know they have enough water. I understand why this is important. But again, what are they going to need to get from the fire district to get approval, right? To get signed off. And so again, if this is just a document for us to have internally for you to say, hey, we've got a record of what's being done, whatnot, it's almost like it would be more appropriate for us to give a nod to the fire district. Hey, we had an application come in for ADUs, just wanted to let you know. As opposed to requiring it on the application. That's my thought.
I guess my thought was, could this be combined into one document that's basically, and I'm understating it right now,
a checklist that the landowner goes through with Nicole, or Nicole gives them, or whatever. They sign, so we know that they've been educated.
I guess Madam Chair, I'm sorry.
Yeah, please.
I kind of see it as a checklist and putting the landowner on notice. I mean, I guess I already kind of see it that way, so I don't know how it would be any different. Like, I can't see a path to being different than, what you're saying versus what we're doing. Because a lot of this is, yes, check. I understand that approval from DEQ does not override any private restrictions.
Absolutely.
Great. Like, the landowner is checking that. The solid waste, that's another thing. So maybe to back up, maybe because when I receive these, I already know that I will be obligated to share it with the Public Works Department so that I can say, hey, here's an ADU application. Because maybe the landowner absolutely will go to solid waste and say, hey, you need to give me a second assessment of $265. Maybe it will slip their mind for a period of time.
Right.
But I will have this form to pass on
Yes.
to that department.
Yes. Absolutely.
So maybe I could do the same thing with fire
Yes.
to where we get rid of the
Exactly.
attach a copy of signed approval confirmation and for assistance. So the landowner is simply checking, hey, I've contacted the fire department.
Exactly.
But I will also, as
You
part
will
of my
also.
due diligence as staff, share it with the fire department.
Exactly.
So they have knowledge of it.
Or it could be, I understand that the planning department will inform the fire district or something of.
But
I
along
like that better than saying that they've reached out, because what's the point of them reaching out, I guess, is like, if unless there's something that they're trying to obtain from the fire department, I don't think we need to say that they've contacted them on the form. But if we want to say like that they understand that we will reach out to inform the fire department that this is being constructed, that's at least letting, I guess it's, I don't know, passing the buck to us instead of them, but I guess I don't know what they're affirming,
Right.
if they sign off on it. Besides,
Yeah.
I talked to them, which
Right.
maybe they did, maybe they didn't.
Right.
Along those lines, why should we single out the fire department then? Shouldn't it be all
That's-
emergency services? So ambulance and the sheriff's department also.
That's the road I went down.
Which really kind of comes back to
Back to-
you for the addressing and 911 services. So
So then why are we reaching out to fire?
Exactly.
Right? I mean, and I'm not trying to discount that this is all very important, and I think that everyone should be informed. But if I'm adding that structure point to my GIS, my 911 map, no different than a subdivision, but well, no, it is different than a subdivision. I take that back, because a subdivision is done through the public process. So, the sheriff's office, the fire, the ambulance will have knowledge of what's occurring.
it would be
but-
the same as a family transfer.
You're right, okay.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
also done through the public process. This isn't going to be done through the public process. There will simply be an additional structure or 3 added without knowledge by,
Again,
First responders.
This is, I look at this as a guiding document for you,
right,
right? It's an internal guiding document for you to feel objective and like your bases are covered when you're saying to DEQ, great. It's a little more than saying no comment, because it gives us a record and it gives you a trail, a paper trail of, yeah, I said, here's the acknowledgement, especially when we get into the sticky situation of covenants, which is going to happen. So then you can say, you know what, they came to me, I have to approve, they contacted planning about it, they filled out the application, they've acknowledged all these things, we're good.
Which is what I think, sorry, I was just thinking about this a little bit ago, but the regulation form, I think, is not even calling it guidelines. I think going back to just a fact sheet and just calling it that, because otherwise we're
Right.
trying
Yeah.
to guide them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
what the guidelines
Sure.
would be. So I think it would just redo this, because most of it's saying we're not requiring this stuff anyway. So
Right, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
regulating.
so it just has to be
Yeah.
reworded a little bit to say, these are the facts, and
There you
then
go. Yes,
the form
Yes.
is its own
Agreed.
separate thing, kind of
Agreed.
referencing the facts. But
And
it's
I-
mostly the landowner affirming, we've done all this.
I mean, there's
Let
good
me-
stuff on
let's
this
go.
form. There's
Yeah.
good stuff on the form. I
Absolutely.
think it's a good fact sheet form. Yeah, I think a fact sheet is great. Go with that. Yeah. I don't think you need the site plan, because you can't, what are you gonna do with it, right? This is strictly a fact sheet.
The
for them.
site plan was more for adhering to the definition of an accessory dwelling unit, so that we can say, yes, it is smaller than the primary residence. But at what point, okay, it's a little bit bigger, so now that's the primary residence and the other one's the accessory unit, so.
Right, it switches. That came up last
That-
week, okay, just so you know.
Yeah, and in my research, we're saying, this is kind of following up with you, but a little off track. We're saying smaller than. A lot of the paperwork I have seen, it says, it states 50% or 75% to alleviate, it's smaller.
Did you
Well, and
guys
that's-
you guys took that from 532?
So 532 just has smaller than.
Okay,
The other MCA for municipalities, it has like up to 75% or 1,000 square foot,
Yes.
whichever is smaller.
Yes.
So we were kind of going more towards the county one, and because exactly, we don't have a building inspector go out
Right.
and say, well, you're a foot too big, sorry.
Right.
Cut a chunk off.
right.
But if you're going to say smaller,
It was 1 square foot.
I mean,
right.
it's kind of a catch-22.
Yeah.
But if we're-
It's- Again, we're not regulating.
We're not. So I
just-
mean, I think if
yeah.
we just, on the fact sheet, put the definition of what a accessory dwelling unit is, we can remove the need for a site plan.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's a work in
Because,
progress.
I mean, they'll have to do a site plan for DEQ anyways.
Yeah.
So that doesn't, I mean, it shouldn't matter. It's just a document to us, but it's one less thing that we have to worry about.
Agreed. And again, since the application, it's an internal thing for you to use. I think just take the fire out of it.
Okay.
I know Ed won't be happy about that, but solid waste we do have to have, because we have so many checks and balances to try to make sure, because an additional dwelling unit will 100% create more solid waste.
And when I talked to TJ about this a bit, I mean, we kind of were saying the same thing, that having an internal in-house process of, we get the application in, and whoever it might be, whether it's Nicole or whoever, but they send it out to TJ for solid waste, to Department of Revenue, so that we make sure it gets on the tax books,
Yeah,
to
Exactly.
maybe Melissa in the Treasury Department, but have a set, here's what's coming, we just got this, it's coming, and we have a set email list that we just send them to.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So on the fact sheet, I'm gonna get rid of the application materials completely, because that wouldn't be a fact sheet or a fact of what an ADU would be.
On where? Oh, application
So
materials,
number
yeah.
6.
Yeah.
And then I'll put, do we still want the $250 fee?
Commissioner Swenson, could that go on the authorization form? Similar to like an address application?
Yes,
Or-
that's what I was thinking, is move
okay.
it, just move it over to the form instead of in the fact sheet.
Perfect.
But that way, number 6 basically is gonna come completely out of there.
So what is our, Madam Chair, may I?
Yes, yes, please.
Sorry, kind of got cash here for a minute.
You're right.
So what is our ability, this is an internal document, what is our ability, do we have any ability to require this to be completed for an ADU?
I mean, I think it's just based on who called. It's for Nicole. So really, if someone calls you inquiring about ADUs, yes, we have an application that we fill out.
And it's the only way for her to give her answer to
Yes,
DEQ.
to DEQ.
Right.
It'll to allow me to move the DEQ process forward.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't see.
that I think we can 100% do without question. Are there going to be people that are on lots bigger than 20 acres? that build structures, ADUs, whatnot, probably without coming to ask, yeah, it's going to happen, 100%. I don't know a lot of ranchers that are going to be like,
Right.
I need to put a little extra cabin over here that are going to, maybe they will, maybe they know to reach out to the sanitarian, I don't know, but, so this is
Well,
for
to put
you.
in a septic, they would have to reach out to the sanitarian, because unless they're putting it in their own septic system, but if they have somebody else put it in, then they would have to
Yes.
have a permit.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah. So, yeah, I think it's internal, it's for you. As you get inquiries, yes, we have an application process for this that, allows us to move things forward with DEQ.
Do we need the form notarized? Because I know it's getting difficult to
I don't
find
think so.
notaries to.
I would say no, just because it's for
If it's internal.
internal purposes.
Is it possible to still leave the signature line?
Oh yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Okay,
I think
just go to the
absolutely
notary.
have them sign
Yeah.
it. Yes.
Perfect, okay.
Yeah. Should you sign this too? Should we have a spot for you to sign? Landowner signature and then you acknowledge it or no?
That might be more of a legal question, but in the interest of like the liability of it, I don't want to be signing something that, or giving false representation that I verified
Okay.
that they checked their covenants, because I will not be going to check the covenants.
No.
That, so.
No, I think
no.
I agree with you. I think it's a lot more landowner affirming. And yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
unless legal says something different, I don't see a need to put that on there. Oops, get rid of that.
Madam Chair, one more
Yes.
potential edit to consider, and this needs to be ran past Megan, but Megan Bullock, our sanitarian, I know that she had mentioned in our conversation that short-term rentals require appropriate licensure. So if it were to be a short-term rental, there's a whole separate license that landowner needs to obtain. I don't know if it's from the Department of Public Health and Human Services or if it's from DEQ. So I don't want to give the false impression that I know more about this than I do. I just know it came up in conversation. So
Is that something you think should go on the fact sheet, on the application, or both?
Madam Chair, I think it would be beneficial to have it on both. So under landowner acknowledgements, just something that, a short-term rentals require appropriate licensure, or we understand that short-term rentals require appropriate licensure. Check. Because, and not that someone would be doing it with malice. They simply may not know
Right.
that that's required. But again, that's more Megan's territory than mine. I also think it should be added to the regulation under the sanitation review clarification section. Sorry, not regulation, fact sheet. Fact sheet.
Yep, fact sheet. Under which part, sorry?
The last one.
Last one.
7, soon to become 6.
And a vast majority, Madam Chair.
Yes.
A lot of these.
Keep it
It's been a
simple.
long week
Keep
and it's
it
only
simple.
Wednesday.
Yep.
Are going to be short-term rentals.
Probably. Which might be interesting.
That's a
We
whole
all know about
other
the
thing.
tax
Right,
changes
right.
that are coming in another
Yeah,
year.
that's a whole nother subject.
Yeah.
So, if I may, on the fact sheet,
Yes.
section 1, the purpose is going to come out. Because if we're just doing
Maybe.
facts,
Yeah, I think that's, yes, I think that
okay,
can
so
come
that's
out.
coming out. I'm going to leave the definition of accessory dwelling unit, get rid of by right. Section 3, general permission or provisions. A lot of that's probably going to stay, but change it to up to 3. Size, I'm gonna get rid of size limits.
Really quick, can we back up
Yes.
to the under by right? Did you want that third bullet point in there somewhere in the fact sheet, talking about discretionary zoning action?
Does it need to be there? I guess that's,
Nope.
I don't think so for the
I don't
fact,
think
no.
so. If we're going to go for, like, move forward with this,
Right.
it doesn't seem like it
does
would
it
need to be there.
Right.
Okay, sorry.
Nope, you're fine. So permitted use changes to up to 3. Size limits,
Maybe allowed, yeah.
I'm gonna get rid of size limits because it already is gonna be kind of in the accessory dwelling unit definition.
Yep, perfect.
We'll change the words on these a bit, but the design standards, so no requirements unless we want them out of there.
I think you could take design standards, occupancy, and parking and put them in one point and just say there's no additional requirements around design standards, occupancy, or parking.
Okay. Get rid of 6 completely. Then we're on to section 4. Those are all just facts, so we'll leave
Yep.
that.
I don't even know if you need the no additional requirements, maybe imposed. I think you can take that out completely.
Okay.
No.
I think moving the driveway permit onto the form
Yeah.
and putting like same thing as the solid waste assessment.
I don't think it hurts to have it on both.
I was just gonna say, I think having it on both
Those
is
two
fine.
things are so important.
But I do think you could take out the one before it.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to say what we don't require, right?
Right.
Okay. 6. I think 6 all stays, and 7 I think will stay.
Remember the last bullet point on 6 that private covenants may still restrict ADUs. Applicant is responsible for reviewing covenants, and enforcement is outside county jurisdiction. I don't even know if you need to say that. You could just say applicant's responsible for reviewing covenants and leave it at that. Private covenants may still restrict ADUs. Applicant is responsible for reviewing covenants and leave it. I don't think you even need to say anything about enforcement.
Madam Chair, I think
I
it's an
disagree.
important statement.
You disagree? Okay,
Yeah.
Forward,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Because
You-
so many times people think we do.
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. Cute. All right. Sorry. I thought Megan's
And
stuff was
I
good.
kind of think even, I mean, if we're leaving it as a fact sheet, I don't think put the applicant is responsible, because that's already on the form. We're just saying that the private covenants still are enforced.
Oh,
Are still
yeah,
in
yeah,
place.
that's fair. Less is more.
And then 7 is all just facts anyways,
Yep.
and add short-term rental and fix all the numbers.
Yep. I think that works.
Okay, and then I'm taking off the fire completely from the form.
And you're adding the other one you're adding the
Adding the fee.
construction of an ADU, the road, the driveway, the approach, access.
Yeah. And the short-term licensure, okay. Okay,
Awesome.
we'll get these done and get them.
Okay, since we're talking,
Posted as soon
did
as I-
anyone have some comment they would like to make on this forum process? I hope you guys are appreciating our circular, kind of all over the place process as we go through these. Just it's good to talk about the stuff out loud. You have to be able to sit together and discuss it. So if you'd like to jump in with anything, please feel free. Okay.
You guys are doing awesome.
Oh, hey, thank you. Thank you.
I just want to
Can you say that on the microphone?
Yeah, right. Really
Say it louder.
please.
We're not used to hearing that.
Seriously, yeah.
I want to say that I appreciate you doing this in a public meeting because previously we have been working on this form for quite some time, and it was Haranch and I going to each of you individually
Yeah.
and having these circular conversations because
Yeah.
the only way you can discuss this is in a public meeting. And so this is much more effective than the first
Yeah.
couple of weeks that we were operating with this. So.
It just takes some time, and
It
you do
does.
have to be able to talk about it as a group to
Yes.
kind of
Yeah.
muddle through it all. And yeah.
That was with the first meeting. It was like, okay, this is
Yeah.
banging my head against the wall.
And then
Yep.
running
Yep.
back to the other commissioner to
Yeah.
say,
Mhm.
yeah,
And things are lost in translation.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, you get going down a certain path, and then it takes somebody else to be like, well, why are we even doing that? Oh yeah, it's true. Then you're just frustrated that you spent that much time. So, all right,
Okay.
so we will put this will be on the October first commission meeting agenda for a discussion decision. Hopefully we've got things pretty well knocked out today. Okay. All right, and there's no other public comment on ADUs from anyone? Okay. All right, thank you. All we have left is our consent agenda items. And
Thank
we
you,
have-
commissioners.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for going through the process. I feel like we've been doing it a lot lately on several different things. Okay, we have minutes. Oh, turn the wrong one. Minutes from August 15th.
I move to approve the minutes from August 15th.
I'll second that.
Go ahead, you can do it.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve minutes from August 15th. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. I'm trying to write in two different places. It's-
With two different pens.
Yes. All right, second set of minutes is from August 27th. Is there a motion?
I would move to approve the minutes from August 27th.
I will second that.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve minutes from August 27th. Is there any public comment? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Sorry. We have two claims today. First one is for $19,780.20.
I would move to approve the claims in the amount of $19,780.20.
I second that.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve claims for $19,780.20. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Pen switch, pen switch. Thank you. Okay, second set of claims is for $42,416.04.
I move to approve claims in the amount of $42,416.04.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve claims for $42,416.04. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right. Leave it open so you can hold through it. Thank you. Okay, as a reminder, there is no commission meeting next week. Commissioners will be at the MACO Annual Conference. Is there any other comments you would like to add? Okay, we will adjourn.